and welcome to Who Watches Who, a Doctor Who podcast with me, Matthew, and as always, and for the first time ever, I am in the room with...
Yes, I'm Scott. Sorry,
Hello.
Discord delay.
Hello, Scott. This is strange.
It is, yeah.
Being in a room together, actually recording something.
Strange being in a room full stop. It's been a couple of years.
It has been. It has been a few years, and you know, I'm used to you being a 2D person on the screen. I just talk into the microphone, which is fine because we are changing up our format of the show. We are now both living
close enough, yeah.
Relatively closer.
Half an hour walk,
yeah, it's not bad.
It's not doxing us.
It's better. No? Yeah, no, it's better than the 30 miles that it was before. So. We figured, fuck it, let's do the podcast in person and mix up the show since we no longer need to do it remotely. It's been a podcast that's been around since the pandemic, so since remote was the default for everything. And we are just going to keep going with where we were going with the podcast before, which is covering the latest episode, Lucky Day.
Yeah, it's written by Pete McTighe.
Yes, who did
Kerblam and Praxius. This is definitely his best work on the show so far. No muddled messaging, I would say. Sure,
I saw some interesting takes online, I think, about people that didn't like it particularly, or just were kind of, I guess, confused as to Unit.
I mean, Unit has been confusing since 1960.
It doesn't. Yeah, Unit doesn't make sense. It just is whatever it needs to be at that current moment.
We're giving tours to kids now, apparently, so we're recruiting kids indirectly.
Yeah, and they're giving them machine guns.
But it's not okay for the Doctor to have a sonic screwdriver anymore.
But yeah, so this was an episode I was, I think, more hesitant towards coming into it because I've made myself blurry. Because it was a Ruby-focused episode.
Yes.
And we've been following... This season's been following the same pattern as last season in episode structure, like mirrored images. And last year... Yeah, it was last year last season came out, wasn't it? Yeah, crazy. Yeah. Last year, the episode with Ruby, 73 Yards... we weren't big fans of.
No.
Some people really
I was a fan of it for the first half hour, and then it took a weird turn with the whole Prime Minister man, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Gwilym?
Yeah. The world's worst Prime Minister or something from Wales. This is another episode that has a similar sort of, you think it's doing something and then flips halfway into, although I think it does it way better. It does. In a way more interesting way. Scott's breaking shit. See, we're in person now, so
now you know what I'm doing.
It all stays in.
Now I have to wear trousers as well. It's bad.
You don't. It's just...
Well, I'm not gonna go commando in front of you, am I?
Please don't. But yeah, so this was an episode. What I really liked. I'm just kind of just talking about shit at the minute. Ruby has a personality.
She does.
She has emotions.
She's more interesting outside of the TARDIS.
The most human she's ever been. Yeah. Which I really enjoyed seeing the aftermath, the impact that traveling with the Doctor has, and it actually having some sort of, emotional reasoning behind it, and it wasn't just all whatever, it was a fun time.
I'm sure Big Finish also like it, because towards the end of the episode she's like, I'm gonna go travel on my own for a bit, so that's at least 3 box sets, I reckon.
There's gonna be a lot of the Adventures of Ruby Sunday. What have you got? What have you got in your notes there?
Well, the episode opens up in 2007, which is where David Tennant was still the Doctor. So does this count as a David Tennant reference?
It does. 2007, which was how many years ago?
God, 18 years ago.
18 years ago. Yeah. So it's like the equivalent of opening the 2005 episode in the late 80s.
Yeah. Father's Day has the same distance, because that's 1987, aired in 2005. So God help us all.
That's brutal.
And when we were kids, Father's Day felt like a period phase. It still does. But
Yeah. It felt like it was so long ago in the past, in like a different world. I wonder, although they don't really spend that much time in 2007.
No, they don't. But
they could have said it was any year.
Yeah.
Because I never really felt like we were in 2007. It was just a New Year's party.
But hey, New Year's Day 2007 was a great day for Doctor Who fans because we had the pilot episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures.
Oh.
And the two-part, not the two-part final, but the final 2 episodes of season 1 of Torchwood. So we had 3 Doctor Who episodes that day, which was a fun day.
4 now. It was fun. I don't want to say I really enjoyed the kid getting hit in the face, but I was taken by surprise by it. Yeah, where like he runs up to his mum and he's like, "Oh, mom, all these things happened." And she just goes bang.
And then, towards the end of the episode, it's revealed, yeah, she's living in France. He's paying for the villa, and he has 3 houses. And would you really pay your mum?
I think he would because he's so subservient. Like he's like a little always wanting to please his mama sort of guy. A little bitch man. Also, like just talk about him in general. He might be the most hated villain that I've ever experienced. I fucking despise this guy. He sucks.
He's basically just Andrew Tate or a Elon Musk or a
just one of your live
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah. And oh my god, though he plays it really well.
He does.
I think he's a very, very strong performance and a really good introduction to a pretty grounded villain.
Yeah,
like he's just a dude, but I think it's the ability to manipulate people and that is possibly what makes him so strong, and he's got a weird robot arm now, so villainous.
And he's the most realistic villain we've had in a long time. I reckon.
My god, yeah, he's the most like actual villain we've had. Where I'm like, you just are not good. You're just a straight up bad guy. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. I was expecting Shooty to show up way sooner than he did. He's only got that one scene at the end.
His best scene?
Well, definitely up there with one of his best scenes, I think, for sure.
I just love that we got back to the angry Doctor.
Yes.
It's been a long time, probably since season 12 episodes of Jodie, I imagine.
Sure.
It's been a while.
It has been a very long time. He was kind of angry in Boom. But I think that was more frustration than anger.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was definitely really angry in this. I wanted it to be longer.
Yeah.
I think that's just me being selfish and being like, this is such a good performance. Don't let it stop. Just keep going. And I loved the monologue that he gave. I loved the fucking villain's response at the end. Although it made me think, have you ever seen I think it's from like, what's it called? Goddamn Mythbusters. Where it's, I reject your reality and substitute my own.
So the villain is a member of Think Tank. We just covered Think Tank's origin episode with Robot just over Christmas.
Yes, and I did not put them together until you said it. I was like, oh shit.
And of course, in the episode Robot, it's revealed that most members of Think Tank are members of a scientific reform party. So we're essentially dealing with a member of Reform in this episode.
I had to deal with a member of Reform today.
Oh god!
There's a corner shop just down the road from me, and the guy working behind the till, he was just talking to me. He's like, what's your plans for the day? And then we were just talking about like, retirement, ha 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 ha. And he's like, yeah, never gonna be able to retire because of all these junkies and illegal immigrants coming in. It's like, all right, man, bye. Thanks for the milk.
I feel the opposite way of being a retail worker. Every day it's like, what kind of asshole am I going to meet today? What kind of racist is going to yell at the black guy behind the counter?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, this time it was an Indian man behind the counter being racist.
God's sake. We live in a society, said the Joker, and he was right.
We do live in a society, allegedly.
Probably the best lighting the TARDIS had as well.
The like when he was angry.
Yeah.
The like mood lighting he said. Yeah.
That's the best lighting.
It was grungy.
Yeah.
It was almost like David Tennant, Eccleston era, where it was that kind of orange, kind of rustic vibe to it. Yeah.
And the whole, get off of my world kind of thing. He said towards a black man who is in real life a refugee.
Yeah.
Holds so much fucking power, and you can tell that should he got what probably didn't have to dig deep in his acting in that scene.
Yeah.
Because yikes, we live in a world. We live in a society.
We do. I really liked the funky aliens that were teleporting around. Mostly, I liked their reveal that they were just men in suits.
Yes.
Because I was watching the episode with my girlfriend, and when they were like crawling around, she was like, "Oh, they're just like guys in suits. I love it." 'Cause they're just like crawling around. She thought it was just part of the aesthetic of the episode, but it's like, no, that's actually part of the episode. It's fantastic.
No, yeah, I thought the same thing. I thought I was going to have to sit here and be like, oh, the villains just look like fucking men in suits. It doesn't look convincing, and then they take off their fucking heads, and it's like,
Yeah. No, I thought it was that twist got me so much. I didn't have anything spoiled, which is crazy. Yeah, I was like a week late getting to it.
Yeah, because you watched the first half.
Yeah.
What part did you get up
Literally got up to the bit where they're in the pub and they hear the noise outside of the monsters coming to attack, and then I had to stop. And then I rewatched the episode from the start again. So as far as I knew, the episode was just about these monsters.
Also a parallel to last year's episode 4. She gets pranked in a pub.
Yeah.
The Welsh people prank her in a pub last year.
Yeah. British pubs are the worst. Stay away from them.
What else was there?
I don't know. A bunch of things.
Doctor Who. Doctor Who. People thought the Autons were coming back because the guy walks into a shop with some dummies.
Yes, well, we had that same conversation when I was watching it. It was like, do you think that they're focusing on the dummies on purpose as like a little reference?
I'm pretty sure they shot it at the same shop as Rose was shot, in fact.
Oh, so, really?
Yeah.
Well, that place blew up.
Yes, they really blew it up, Matthew, yes. Of course, we have the Shriek, which I keep thinking of.
The Shrek.
Shrek.
The Shrek. I thought, what did you think of the Kate Stewart in this episode?
Probably the best she's been used since I don't even know.
She was like scary.
She was, and this is a setup to the spin-off.
Yeah.
So it makes me actually excited for the Sea Devil spin-off.
If it maintains that level of like darkness. Where, it's almost Torchwood-esque.
Yeah.
Where,
she's a moral character, but sometimes her morals are questionable.
She is willing to go further than the Doctor would.
Yes.
I don't think she's not. And everybody else around her was like, hey, Kate, please stop. You're going to kill this guy. And she's like, yeah, I'm fucking going to kill this guy. He sucks. And yeah, no, I thought she was legitimately scary and probably the most interested I've been in Kate Stewart in a long time.
Yeah.
She's been a pretty big recurring character these past few years.
Yeah, she's popped up every year since 2021, 22.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's come back in a big way. Because she went away for a while after the Capaldi era, right? Yeah.
And then she came back
with Jodie Whittaker in Flux.
Yeah, Flux.
So that's 2021, yeah.
And then she's been back ever since Flux.
Yeah. And she's just been a background character, essentially.
Yeah, she's not really been up to that much, and it's been like, why do we need to keep bringing... Ooh, breaking news from the BBC. I got a notification.
There's that 2-minute silence to fall across for UK at noon, so we have to be very silent.
Well, we've got a little while till noon, so that's okay. We'll just stop the podcast for 2 minutes when the BBC tell us to be quiet.
Yeah, that's what we have to do. We pay our taxes, and it's just...
BBC. We don't have free speech in the UK, remember? So it's
according to this episode of Doctor Who, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is something we could bring up. The whole news media cycle of Trinity Wells being like, "Oh, they don't have freedom of speech. This is anarchy in the UK," and it's like, no, it's not.
No, it's just, it's the classic sort of
American
sensationalism.
Yeah.
trying to get involved with their type of politics into the UK.
Which is what Elon Musk has been doing. So.
And fucking JD Vance.
Yeah.
You know, like they're trying to stir the pot to build it up, and even with reform. You see that sort of shit as well, you know, where they're trying to bring in that sort of populism, sort of like, you know, we need to do this, we need to fix this, the government's not doing anything. And it's like, fucking, the government's just got into power.
Yeah. I know. It's, oh God.
And it's this idea, fucking, even in the media, where they focus on parties like Reform gaining all those seats and ignore parties like Green that have more seats than Reform. But Reform, you think, are going to be the new opposition.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This episode aired the day after Reform gained more power, which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much... Well, it didn't predict anything. It's just, here's a way society is going.
Yeah.
Which is what Doctor Who should be. It needs to have deeper themes.
I think so. I think it needs to be able to hold a mirror up as well to, like...
Black mirror?
Yeah, although like even Black Mirror, I think like the modern Black Mirror is just nowhere near as good as it was, you know.
Yeah, I haven't watched the last 2 or 3 seasons.
It was the British Black Mirror was way better.
Yes, the Channel 4 version was the one to go with. They're taking off Bandersnatch off of Netflix. The interactive
game.
special. Yeah, they're taking all interactive specials off of Netflix, which is quite sad because it was an interesting experiment. I know it's not going anywhere, but
Yeah, that's the worst thing about streaming services, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, we're going to do something and then, fuck it didn't work. Bye, it's gone. Even if you didn't enjoy it.
Ruby's haircut versus my haircut. What are your thoughts? Which one's better?
Ruby's.
Ouch.
I actually liked her hair in this one.
I thought you complained when the trailer came out. You were like, I don't like her hair.
It's a difference between seeing it in a single shot and seeing it in motion and long. I thought it was nice looking hair. I think it suited her well.
Okay, ouch. I feel sad now.
Yeah, you need to try a little bit harder.
What else is there to talk about? Mal's off in Sydney, dealing with stuff at the harbour.
Yes. That a hint towards the war between the land and the sea.
Which seems like it's definitely going to be the only Doctor Who we're getting next year.
It's the last Doctor Who ever.
God knows where this Disney partnership is going to go.
I either expect it to just continue on fine.
Yeah.
Or it just won't work. Or they'll, smaller budget. But I honestly don't think Doctor Who can go with a smaller budget. We already don't have enough episodes.
Yeah, it's 9 a year is just too small.
Yeah,
it's especially if we're going to be repeating the same kind of format in terms of what the episodes. Apparently, next week's episode is a companion piece to episode 5 from last year.
Yeah.
So
it's weird having it mirrored themselves like this. I don't think Doctor Who's ever done that before, where like the structure of the 2 seasons is identical.
It's really strange. I mean, in the original Russell T Davies era, you'd get the episode set in modern day Earth introducing a new cast member.
Yeah.
And then an episode set in the past, and then an episode set in the future, and then a 2-parter. But it wasn't as obvious as this.
But I think even like the themes of the episodes are the same, like it's not even just location, it's like what's going on. Like you're fighting a pantheon in episode 2, you're going into a more experimental territory in the past with episode or whatever episode 3 was. No, episode 3 is like the standstill, the best one. Yeah. That's the bottle episode, the one location.
Yeah. Every episode this season has been better than every episode of
oh my god, yeah. This season is fantastic.
Yeah.
I almost wish this season was last season.
Yeah.
Because you had a bunch of people start Doctor Who again last season and be like, this is terrible, and just didn't stick with it. Whereas this has been I'm thoroughly enjoying this season. I'm shocked by it.
The Mrs. Flood cameo. What are your thoughts? Probably the best one so far.
Yes.
That's not saying anything.
The best one so far. I still don't like her.
Yeah.
Although I didn't like that she let the guy out of jail, so that was good because I'm not supposed to like that she does that. I like that she seems to be doing something now.
Yeah.
Where she's like, haha, you can come out, rather than just be like, oh, wow, the Doctor's doing this now and staring into the camera as she does it. And we're getting pretty close to the actual finale.
Yes, there's only 2 normal episodes left, and then it's part 1 of the finale.
Yeah.
It's insane to think about.
Yeah. So we'll have our questions answered about her pretty soon. I still get her confused with Susan Twist.
Yes, I don't blame you, to be honest.
It's bizarre. That's the recurring thing.
I don't understand why you would do 2 old lady mysteries in every single episode.
Yeah.
In a row.
Yeah. It's and there's absolutely no way that I'm the only person that gets
You're
them
not.
confused.
You're definitely.
Yeah.
I've seen people on Twitter getting very confused.
Yeah. Imagine what a casual audience members.
Yeah.
You know, they're just going to put them together as the same person. But Susan Twist was a harbinger.
Yeah.
For Sutek, or she was Sutek.
I don't fucking understand.
She turned into a skeleton man.
She was a real person, wasn't she? And she works with Unit now.
Does she?
Yeah,
I assume she died.
At the end of the episode, fucking what's her face? Kate was like, "Do you want a job?"
She just offers jobs to everybody, though.
Where's Rose in this episode? Where's Lenny Rush?
Where's Donna?
Yeah, where's the 14th Doctor and the 15th Doctor are both on Earth around this time. Where are they?
Yeah,
because the 15th Doctor is in the hotel room.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, who knows? It's best not to think about it. But yeah, no. Doctor Who.
Doctor Who. We got another reintroduction to Ruby's real mum, the best character in this show.
Do we see her?
Yeah, she's in like one scene. She's in the kitchen.
Is she really?
And she's like, "Oh, you're off on another date." And then she gets a kiss from Ruby, and then she leaves.
I just totally blanked out that was her. Yeah, good for Ruby, I guess. Named after a sign.
3 mums in this episode because Kate is her new mum.
Yes.
And then fucking what's her name? Shirley. Shirley's like, "Hey, are you collecting mums?"
Yeah, I like that line. I thought that was funny. I like Kate being a sort of mother figure to Ruby. I think that's a lot of fun. I think they have a fun dynamic together.
I've seen people say about Lindy, the girl from Dot and Bubble, is worse than Conrad. I don't understand that take. Lindy was brought up in a society where racism is the norm, whereas Conrad is using his voice in a society where racism shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah,
it kind of is the norm. Let's be
sure.
honest.
Yeah, no.
He's using it to,
She doesn't. I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's like for her, it's not abnormal to have those thoughts. It's not seen as like a fringe opinion, Whereas he is an extremist. He is on the fringe. He is actively a villain. Like I think she's just gross and racist. Yeah, but she wasn't actively trying to do harm to anybody. Whereas he is and was manipulating Ruby the entire time.
Yes, and lying about the fact that he knows that aliens exist.
That's an interesting thing. Aliens exist, and everyone's okay with it on Earth.
He remembers the Sycorax.
I know, yeah.
It doesn't make sense because the universe has been rebooted like 3 or 4 times.
Maybe the Sycorax have invaded in the Big Finish episode.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, of course he was ableist towards Shirley, which it's not just one thing for these people. It's always who can we target? Who's the most vulnerable? Everyone. Let's target everyone.
I really is this the first mention of Cybermen in the Shooty era?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're ever going to get proper. Are we ever going to get the Daleks or the Cybermen?
I really hope so.
Yeah.
I want to see Shooty interact with some classic villains.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of
Sutek, which went really well.
You know what I mean. Villains people remember.
like from the top 5 or 6.
Yeah.
The
Sontarans, Cybermen, Daleks. I think the issue I think, and I've seen people have this opinion online, is Chibnall tapped into that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially in Flux, when there's Daleks and Cybermen and Sontarans and everybody.
It does make the universe feel small.
Yeah, and just giving it that sort of break.
Sorry, I just got a notification from Big Finish.
Oh, new Big Finish release. But yeah, no, I I hope we see at least. I think a Cyberman episode would be interesting. A Dalek episode would be interesting, and it's been a long enough time. Like it's been like since the 100th anniversary, surely.
Yeah.
For the BBC.
Yeah. Since the Centurion.
Yeah, since the Sontaran.
But yeah, they looked at each other when he did the dance.
It's a really fun episode.
It is.
It's really fun.
It's really
I think it's one of Chibnall's best, and it is. Yeah, it's just Chibnall fan fiction going crazy, but I had such a blast watching it.
I think we covered everything.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
Yeah, it was really fucking good.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm interested to see what next week brings. I think it's a really good season so far.
Yeah.
I would give this one an 8 out of 10, I think. I've only seen it once.
Yeah,
so.
I give the same. I don't like it as much as The Well, but...
The Well was really good. I can't wait to rewatch this season.
Yeah.
You know? Because when I rewatched season 1 after it all aired and I binged it all back again, I was like, this has been ruined by the finale, so I'm not enjoying this as much. If the finale is good... Yeah. This is going to be a fucking banger. And I can't wait.
Crossed. This might be the best season since Series 10.
Yeah.
They fucking nailed the landing. And it's been 8 years since Season 10.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's real good so far. So if people haven't been watching it, get on it now before the finale ruins everything.
This will definitely be the last of the main show for another
couple of years. Yeah, at minimum.
Yeah,
you know.
Which is... Doctor Who every year. There's no more gap years. We fucking lied.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
oh well, fun episode. This is the new format of the show. We're in person. Yeah, I think it's gone pretty well. We'll see what the audio's like. That's what I'm most curious about, how we can figure this out. It'll change. We'll get used to it. We'll figure it out. Right now we're recording on Scott's laptop because my computer's way over there, and we don't. I don't have things properly set up still. I'm still moving in.
So forgive us, we're just working out the kinks at the moment.
Yeah, we'll get it all sorted out soon.
We'll look more polished than we did during the Discord era for sure.
Yeah, there's not going to be any freezing. or
double audio.
Yeah, or weird things. But I hopefully this has gone pretty well. I think it has. I enjoyed it.
We'll see.
Hello again in the same episode because we are not lazy. We're busy. We're both busy people with full lives and engaging stories to tell. These episodes, because this is now a 3-part episode covering 3 episodes, which I don't think we've ever done.
We've done it before with the Damon.
Yes.
Way back. That was one of our earliest podcasts.
Didn't we do 3 episodes in season 1 as well? I remember distinctly making a photo that was a pyramid because I had 3 photos in it, but maybe that was just...
Maybe you're hallucinating.
Maybe. But we are covering the last 2 episodes that came out before this week's season, part 1 of the finale, because we were like, oh boy, we're a little bit behind right now. Let's play catch up real quick. And then that way we're ready for the finale when people actually want to talk about how Billy Piper's back. So... God,
I hope that rumor is incorrect. You just spoiled it for all 10 of our listeners.
If it is correct, then we need to find a different show to talk about.
Torchwood or Class or K9.
But anyways, we are first going to be, or second, I guess, because we've just finished talking about whatever the hell the episode was called before. But we're now going on to the story in the engine, which big spider episode that I was like, is it going to be bad or not?
Yeah, man,
it was good.
We got one shot of a spider. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Shot, but it was mostly like a televised play.
It was.
Written by a playwright, so I guess that makes sense.
And it was a really big concept. I'm not sure if I still fully understand the ideas in the idea of it.
But people understand it and they resonate with the themes, so that's cool. It's good that Doctor Who is still resonating with people and it's still telling new ideas. This is a brand new idea that you would never think Doctor Who could tackle, but out of thousands of episodes, if we're including Big Finish, This is a brand new idea for a 62-year-old show.
Insanely hard to do. Believe me, it's someone who's been trying to come up with Doctor Who stories recently. Coming up with an idea that's not been done is fucking hard.
Yeah, so he pitched me an idea.
Yeah.
And like Sarah Jane did this.
God damn it. But yeah, no, I thought it was interesting. I thought Shooty was very good in this episode. I really liked just the theming and the setups when we go into the show intro, and it starts off on the little window that's telling the story.
I am kind of disappointed they drop the painting aspect of the storytelling.
It just becomes real life.
Yeah, it becomes real life when, the doctor is telling the story about Belinda and the old lady and the Rani who comes in for her medication. Somehow the doctor knows about that little fact. And somehow the Rani came in for her medication.
Just maintaining that illusion, The Rani's got a high blood cholesterol.
So we're to presume that, the Rani decided to, I'm going to pretend to be a normal lady. I'm going to come in for my medication. Yeah. And then Belinda tells the doctor that part of the story, and then the doctor tells the barber that part of the story.
Yeah,
it's important.
The whole story hinges on it, for sure. I guess you just got to kind of squeeze in because you're committing to this cameo every single episode. I think it would honestly be more effective if she wasn't in every episode.
Yes,
if she just was there kind of every now and then, popping up in places, and it wasn't as fucking obvious. But it's done. Whatever. The main idea in this episode is you go to get your hair cut, and you have to tell a story to get your hair cut to fuel the clippers, which then fuels the engine off this giant spider, which is traveling along the World Wide Web. But the World Wide Web is across the entire universe, not just the world. Yeah. And
One web connects us all.
And it was like this big concept idea where I guess it's more metaphorical than anything than to be taken literally. Like, I don't think there's literally gonna be a giant spider in space covering these webs.
You never know.
Yeah,
we've just been joking all week about time being a planet, a concept, and a person, and an entity.
Yeah,
this show is wild.
yeah. I did like the subversion of you expect the hairdresser man, the barber, to be a god.
Yeah.
And he wasn't. He was just like, I hate the gods. Yeah. I'm like, I agree. They suck.
Yeah, but he's the guy who keeps the stories of all the gods alive, and I can't remember what his evil plan was. But...
It was just to get rid of the stories, because without the stories, then the gods would be dead or something. But also, who was his lady friend? She was like an old companion to the fugitive doctor.
Yeah, I can't remember the whole story, but she was like, I guess the guy's boyfriend.
Yeah,
girlfriend. I mean.
Hey, I'm not one to judge.
And they used to work for her dad. Is the exposition in the episode? The dad was evil or mean or whatever, and they quit and went to this barber shop, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, but anyway, she knew the doctor.
Yeah.
From the time as the fugitive doctor, and we get a little cameo again of the fugitive doctor, which I didn't dislike. It's always kind of fun when she pops up.
Yeah, but she always pops up in the same kind of role, either as a mirage or a hallucination
or like a flashback. Do you think that they're reintroducing the fugitive doctor to remind audiences of the Timeless Child storyline, so that in the finale, when the whatever her name Poppy was, the space baby is revealed to be the doctor, that people can be like, oh right, of course.
This show makes me so angry. Remember when the Russell T Davies era started, and we were like, I like how it's integrating the Timeless Child stuff and Flux and all that with what was it, the Wild Blue Yonder.
Yeah.
And now if it's gonna tie in a major way, I'm gonna throw something out the window. I don't even know what.
What I'm worried about is I've loved this season so far.
Yeah.
It's been so good, and some of the episodes have legitimately been some of the best Doctor Who in years.
Yeah.
And the finale's going to ruin it all.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. One thing I would criticize about this season is every villain apart from Lux himself has been sort of like an allegory or a statement about society and shit, you know, with it, you know, like Belinda's boyfriend or the barber or the guy in the next episode we're covering. Like, we're all kind of like too human. I kind of miss the whole monster of the week angle. We don't really get that anymore.
Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier. I was just walking back to my flat. I was like, you know, this season is suffering from a lack of episodes. Yeah. If we had like a couple more episodes, you could throw in those monsters of the weeks where we just get to have an adventure with the Doctor and a companion. Because especially in this episode, Belinda's just like not in it.
Yeah,
and she wasn't in last week's.
Yeah,
you know.
And she's not in it for like the first 15 minutes, and then she comes into the barber shop, and the Doctor doesn't really explain what's going on with the barber or anything, and she's immediately tuned in to what the story is.
Yeah.
She talks to the lady, and she's like, hurt people, and it's like, but you just joined in like a minute ago, and you immediately understand what the themes of the episode are about.
I kind of like when she said hurt people, I almost like cringed out my skin. Like, I get it's a fun line, it's a clever line, but it feels cliched. I'm like, I feel like I've heard that somewhere before. And you going up to this person and being like, hurt people. Like, are you talking to a child?
She might as well have just gone up to her and said, live, laugh, love. You know? It's very cliche.
Yeah. It was a bad bit of dialogue where I was like, it probably reads better than it does actually being spoken out loud, you know? It looks good on paper.
But yeah, again, I just love the story. You know, it's a brand new idea that we wouldn't get if they weren't going for diverse hires. You know, with the writing or the writers or the directors or the acting.
You know what's the most remarkable thing? The past 3 episodes, including the next one we have to talk about, all guest writer episodes, and all the best episodes of the season, like hands down.
Yeah,
it's almost as if Doctor Who needs new blood in it. It needs new writers with fresh ideas and interesting takes.
But the Fugitive Doctor says, I was busy in a different story that might be finished one day. Is she referring to the fact that maybe she's going to get televised? She's coming back to television, because I don't imagine her coming back for one cameo.
I don't want to see a Fugitive Doctor story. Although, if you want Doctor Who to continue on, you end the Doctor Who with Ncuti Gatwa and you start a new prequel series with the Fugitive Doctor, and she can have another unlimited run of her generations building up to the first Doctor again.
And maybe she could meet the guy from the crystal guy.
The crystal guy. Swarm?
Swarm.
And his sister Azure.
Azure, our 2 favorite characters.
The biggest enemies ever. Although that would I guess a prequel series would be kind of interesting and gives you like a clean slate to work with. The Doctor doesn't know anybody again. You get to reintroduce the Daleks and the Cybermen and all the classic villains.
I guess we would get the Daleks. Does the Doctor remember his time as a Fugitive Doctor now? Because he recognized the lady. He was like, I know your face.
Yeah.
So he kind of does.
But like, I guess that since Jodie's era, like she learned a lot about the Fugitive Doctor. So he would be remembering what Jodie learned about her.
But when 2 doctors meet each other, the future Doctor doesn't remember.
But did they ever meet? Because she was only ever looking at herself through flashbacks.
Yeah, but they met in Fugitive of the Doctor, but Fugitive of the
Judoon, which we've covered. So you should look at it. It's a very good episode.
It's famously called. Was it Jodie Whittaker in the bin, or was it Judoon?
It's Judoon in the bin. Yeah, it's one of our most viewed episodes. It was very successful. But yeah, no, I guess it's just kind of messy. But I'm honestly not against the idea of a Fugitive Doctor if it gives the show something new to do with it.
We definitely don't like the idea of Billy Piper being.
No, oh my God, please.
I hope that's fake. I imagine it will be fake. Please.
I mean, how often is this person's being cast as the Doctor being true? Never.
Yeah, true.
Literally never. It's like the thing that they're the best at keeping secret.
We'll see. We'll fucking see.
Watch it be fucking Catherine Tate.
Oh God. I wouldn't be too surprised if it is Billy Piper, because fucking Russell T Davies is obsessed with Rose. Every series,
literally.
In its first 4 seasons is obsessed with Rose, and
even the 60th anniversary, Rose came back.
Oh, Rose is coming back in the final, by the way.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait for her to just be an extra.
I fucking don't understand why Rose exists.
No, it is a character that I think actively weakens everybody else around her.
But when Belinda is about to go to the barber shop, she sees Captain Poppy from your favorite episode,
The Space Babies. I am going to be before Saturday. With my girlfriend who hasn't seen season 1, but she's been watching season 2 with me.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, Space Babies are back. Okay, so Saturday, just before Saturday, we were going to binge all of season 1. Yeah. So I'm going to get to watch that for maybe the 4th time. Okay. And get to experience Space Babies again.
Good luck.
It is the worst episode of Doctor Who in this new era. It's not even close. Worse than the finale. Well, no, the finale is the worst. The worst is pretty atrocious. The finale
she pointed
is pretty
at
atrocious.
a fucking sign that wasn't there the first time.
And nobody saw her, and that's how she got her name. Makes no sense. Where would the fucking snow come from?
I guess maybe we'll find out.
But it's more just the editing, I think, in Space Babies. It's like headache inducing. It's so fast.
Yeah, who would have thought? I've seen the leaks of Ncuti Gatwa interacting with Baby Poppy in like a park or something. I know vaguely what next week's story is going to be about at Wish World, I've
seen like the big bone dinosaurs. I've only seen the official stuff. I've not seen any of the leaks.
Yeah, well, there's been no really big leaks. This is all like public images, but it looks like the Doctor is in this alternate reality where he is the father to Captain Poppy.
Interesting.
And I guess he's married to Belinda.
We'll see. Speaking of Belinda, in this episode, I don't know if she mentions it so much, but especially in the next episode, she talks about her parents again.
Yeah.
Who we've never seen.
Yeah.
They don't exist.
Yeah,
they don't exist.
They're not characters.
No,
I miss the domestic lifestyle of these characters. Jackie Tyler or Noel Clarke.
See, but I'm thinking that they straight up just don't exist because Belinda's not who she says she is.
Okay.
Like, either Belinda is Susan. Which I can honestly see them doing because we get reintroduced to Susan again in the next episode. Yeah. And we've never seen Belinda mention her. We've never seen her parents. When she was living in London, she was living in student accommodation or like shared housing or whatever the fuck it was. Yeah.
Living in the same place as Donna Noble.
Yeah.
And somebody else. And Ruby as well.
So that's my current theory, is that she's somebody like Susan or something. Somebody important to the Doctor's history.
Can we just get somebody who's normal? Please, for the love of God. I just need a normal person.
Yeah, a companion that's not the most important person in history.
I mean, we had that with like Yaz
and she sucked.
And Graham.
Graham was iconic. I mean, Dan, of course. Oh, he was the best. Almost died once, and he was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
What else have we got? The Doctor almost got sucked out into space 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True. I didn't really believe the tension in either of them. Yeah. It's the weird thing I had with the story and the engine is I don't think I ever really bought into stakes. I never felt like anybody was in danger the entire episode. Yeah. It's more of like an interesting concept and a fun idea to kind of play with this idea of like telling stories and this wider like fighting off the gods. But I was never like, these people are gonna die. This is I never bought into the stakes of the episode.
And the Doctor says he watched all the Marvel movies up to Endgame with one of the gods, which fair.
Yeah,
that's a good place to stop.
Thunderbolts was alright.
I still have to watch it. I feel like I need to watch Black Widow to understand the context.
No, you need to more watch Brave New World. It's like a sequel to that.
Yeah, I watched Brave New World. It's fucking awful.
I haven't seen Brave New World, and when this one is like a direct sequel to that film, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm missing a lot of context for the setup for this, but it was very good still.
Okay, have you seen Black Widow?
No.
Okay, so you can probably understand it. Okay.
Yeah. You get the gist. Like 4 of the characters in it are knockoff Captain America.
Yeah. Marvel is an interesting. We should start a Marvel podcast.
Oh yeah, there's not enough of those.
Like there is in any Doctor Who podcast.
No, we'll get what's the Red Letter Media Marvel podcast called? The Nerd Crew?
Yeah. The barber says he collects stories from multiple places, including Electric Cinema, and he shows an image of the cinema from Lux, which is interesting. I don't think there's a logic there.
Maybe they just didn't have any other cinemas to show.
Yeah, let's just gas cinema.
We've got a cinema set already.
They used braided hair for a map for escape, which is not documented in real life, but it's a story that's being told like generation to generation about how the slaves escaped and all that, and it is used in the episode very cleverly.
Mm-hmm. The braiding of the hair was the one point in the episode that made my girlfriend be like, I don't believe that. Mostly because the braiding happened in about 1 second.
Yeah. I mean, if the episode was like...
we stop for 20 minutes.
I mean, that could be an absolute classic. Just braiding the hair.
Yeah, that's parts 3, 4, 5, and 6.
What else do we have? We got David Tennant cameo this week. Yippee!
Did we get David Tennant?
Yeah, see, he's in the Doctor.
Oh, of course, because we get the whole we get what they did last season in Rogue.
Yeah.
Where it's I'm the Doctor Who, and we see every incarnation of the Doctor Who, which I always enjoyed, but it felt like in previous versions of the Doctor, we got them maybe once.
Yeah.
Like it happened with Matt Smith.
Yeah.
It happened with David Tennant. It happened with Capaldi. But it was like a one-time thing. This is twice it's happened.
But in the logic of, I have so many fucking stories to tell you.
Yeah.
Let's put on the TV and watch some Doctor Who. I was, the guy was like, oh my god, I have so many stories now. I could feed off of this for an eternity. And I was expecting the Doctor to be like, oh, I have even more. And then he starts playing Big Finish. And then his head explodes. Is this in canon?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I always enjoy a little Doctor Who cameo of the previous Doctors, but again, I don't think pitching this as season 2 works.
No,
as it didn't work as pitching it as season 1 last time.
Why does the Doctor become a black lady for 2 seconds?
Yeah,
can the Doctor just change his face like that and then change it back?
Yeah, we've no idea how anything works in season 2, and if you've not seen the 60th either.
Yeah,
you don't even really know what regeneration is.
And if you watch the 60th when you haven't seen series 4, you're more lost.
Yeah. This is like what, season 15, 16? Yeah.
15.
Season 15, not season 2.
Yeah.
I hate that there's 3 different Doctor Who's on BBC.
I understand it because on Disney Plus,
sure,
it has to be called season 2. Whatever.
Yeah, but fuck 'em.
Anything else?
Not really. I thought it was a good episode.
Yeah, it's a really solid episode that I haven't 100% tuned into, but I appreciate it for being very different to what we've seen before.
I'm really interested in seeing what it's like on a rewatch.
Yeah.
And watching it again and seeing if I either pick up on more stuff or if it's perhaps not as interesting.
I wonder if it'll tie in more to the series final with Wish World being like a new world where the Doctor has no memories of his past and it's like a new reality and it's a new story, essentially. We'll see.
Yikes.
We'll see if any of these episodes
hold up when the finale. It's like last season. The finale kind of ruins all the previous episodes.
I'm still not 100% sold on Belinda. I'm sorry.
I'm kind of on the same camp as you. I was enjoying her to begin with in the season, but because she's been so absent in these past several episodes, I'm like, I have really no idea who you are now. Yeah. And every single episode, it's like, you've got to get me home, Doctor.
Yeah. What she's been in, the story in the engine is her 5th episode, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 4th.
4th. 5th?
Jesus.
4th.
Because she was absent for 1, unless it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So she's in 7 episodes in total, which is way.
Do you think they're going to tie in Boom yet?
I don't know.
Or do you think that they were just hand waving it when they brought it up at the start of the season?
I think hand waving.
They should have just not brought it up.
I know. But that time could have been spent on character development.
Yeah, they could have just been like, this is what Doctor Who does. We did the same with Amy and that person from Pompeii.
Did we?
No, as in they just ignored it.
Oh, right, yeah, ignored it. Yeah.
Which is what they probably should have done, unless it plays really big into the finale for some reason.
It fucking won't.
It will not at all, because they've not mentioned it again.
Who the fuck cares?
Exactly.
Just leave it.
But yeah, that was the story in the engine. A very good episode. The season continues to be strong, and we're just going to keep marching straight on as we go on to talk about the intergalactic song
Interstellar.
Interstellar. Fuck.
Is it?
Interstellar? This is
Interstellar
Song Contest.
Yeah.
Everybody is a really big fan of whatever the fuck his name was.
Dugadoo.
The director, man. No, he did Interstellar.
Dugadoo. Dugadoo.
Dugadoo is the highlight of this episode for sure.
It's Matthew's new nickname on my phone.
Oh, is it really? This was the episode written by the author lady, wasn't it? Was it?
I can't remember. It's Juno Dawson, who was on the Doctor Who fan podcast last year, which was fucking awful.
The official Doctor Who fan podcast.
Yes.
Yeah, they suck. Fuck them. They're not as good as us.
It was all, how do you do, fellow kids?
They can't.
I'm pretty sure we said stuff like Riz and Skibbity.
They also, I don't think they're really allowed to be critical of the show in any way whatsoever, whereas that's all we do.
Well, this episode opens up with Rylan Clark, your favorite guy.
I have no real strong opinions on Rylan. He's a fine host. He's fine enough.
He's very calm. He's enjoyable. I don't hate seeing him. I do other presenters.
He made me laugh in this episode. Every now and then he has some funny lines. I like how important he is. Also, surely Rylan canonically is the person they should have gone to find out what happened to the Earth. Yeah, he's the only human left.
Yeah, true.
He would know what happened. How the fuck did he survive whatever the Rani's gonna do?
Big finish.
The Adventures of Rylan.
The Adventures of Rylan, and maybe Cassandra pops up for an episode or two.
Of course,
I would listen
what
to
if
that.
Rylan is Cassandra?
Oh my god. But yeah, he's cryogenically frozen and etc. And Graham Norton is a fucking hologram.
Yeah. Whatever, BBC show.
And somehow they remember Eurovision exists hundreds of years after the Earth explodes.
I think they were whatever you just said his name, Graham Norton. He explains it as it's like the last remnants they managed to find from the salvage or whatever was Eurovision. And so they just kept it going.
Are you a Eurovision guy?
I have never seen it. I've seen the film with Will Ferrell.
Yeah. I've seen bits and bobs because my mum used to watch it, and I went to a Russian friend's house, and they were watching Eurovision.
Nice.
No surprises to who they were supporting on that day.
Britain. But yeah, it was. This one I think was a really interesting episode.
Oh, that means you're for genocide. That means you're for genocide.
The internet has terrible opinions on it, and I don't think that they can think critically about things.
I will say the episode is a bit muddled in what it's trying to say, I feel like. Mm-hmm. But I don't fucking think for 1 second the episode is saying anything positive about the fact that genocide fucking happened.
The takeaway I got from it is that genocide is bad to the point where the Doctor is incredibly triggered and angry and uncontrollably filled with rage at the idea of someone trying to do another genocide. Yeah. Because he lost his entire planet to a genocide twice. Yeah. And the idea that someone was going to do it again just brought out this darker side to him. Which imagine that your main character does something morally grey. Your main character, you don't agree with something the main character did. Oh my god.
I do wish there was a little bit more into that, the whole idea of the Doctor beating the guy, because I feel like he could understand where Kid is coming from the perspective of, if you look at Dalek, the guy, the Doctor was still grieving for his home planet there, and he almost shot the Dalek or whatever, and he came to terms
you would make a good Dalek.
Yeah, like the Doctor has been in that kind of place before. I feel like he could understand and have a conversation with this guy rather than fucking beat him.
I think the episode...
Some kind of talk, like just one small speech.
Maybe, but I think maybe this version of the Doctor, he's just old now. I know, he's very old, this version of the Doctor, and he tries to be this lighthearted camp dude, but I like the idea that he's got this very dark undertone to him. And again, I think it just suffers from a lack of episodes, because if we had more episodes, Monsters of the Week or whatever, we could have maybe foreshadowed this darker side of Shooty a bit more. You know, maybe he does something a bit morally grey in one of the episodes, or he does something that scares Belinda and she sees this side of him that she never has seen before, which happens in this episode, but it's kind of too little too late, you know, because we're going straight into the finale.
Yeah, and also some people are like, oh, maybe he did it because he thought Belinda was dead, but he doesn't think Belinda is dead. But the entire episode, he's like, I can save all of these people because they're inside the Mavity field.
They do say Mavity a lot in this episode.
I can't imagine not watching the 60th specials and coming into
I had to explain that as well to my girlfriend. I was like, oh, Mavity's a running joke.
Like, Doctor Who dialogue is already technobabble, and it's hard to understand at times, but Mavity, that's even more confusing.
I kind of want them to go back to Gravity. Yeah. I like Mavity was fun. Mm-hmm. I've had my fun. I've had my fill of Mavity, please. I'm done.
Mavity should have been dropped after the Wild Blue Yonder. Yeah,
maybe, you know, I don't mind a little reference here or there in season 1. Going into season 2, it can be fixed off screen. We don't need to see it again, because now you're kind of writing yourself into a corner, especially in this episode where you've said it so much, where for the rest of time now, it is Mavity. How do you get out of that?
Yeah.
Unless you reset the universe again.
I imagine the next showrunner will write Gravity and forget about it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I'll be on like 6 years.
You think?
I don't know how long Russell D. Davies is planning on sticking around for.
No, I guess only he knows that.
But he's writing for the next
2 seasons, wasn't it?
2 seasons, yeah.
Fucking hell.
Which hopefully it's better than these 2 seasons. I like season 2.
I'm liking season 2 a lot so far. Yeah.
And if you like season 2, that means you're for genocide.
Yeah, of course, yeah. No, I'm not for genocide, but I am for nuanced discussion on complex subjects.
That's just Twitter in a nutshell. Everything's like 360 words or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is you know, the highest stakes possible and black or white. There is no room to be morally gray. There is no room for this is bad, but, or, you know, this is maybe not the most ideal situation out of it. You're either good guy or bad guy. Like real life is like Star Wars, where the Empire were the good guys.
Yeah. This is certainly obviously a criticism of Israel, the whole the whole idea of a committed genocide just for the honey. Israel is known as the land of milk and honey or whatever. Yeah. It's a clear thing, but the thing is, this episode was kind of written before the genocide happened, but also after. So you're writing drafts during the outbreak of this situation, which kind of does muddy the water a little bit with the moral messaging.
Sure. I mean, I think the ultimate moral messaging is still there.
Yeah.
Genocide bad. Yeah. Don't kill people. Yeah. Regardless, I guess, on if a genocide has happened to you, that doesn't instinctively mean that you're allowed to genocide other people. You know, it's kind of like, not to bring up or put a target on our backs for, you know, I know he's going to come after us, Hassan. You know, just because one party is bad doesn't mean that the terrorists fighting the other party are good guys. Hot take, everyone's bad.
If you fucking murder any...
Yeah, if you kill someone, guess what, you're bad. You need that.
I just wonder what a kid is going to gravitate towards. Apart from like Dugadoo, there's nothing really for kids to understand in this episode.
I think that they would probably enjoy. I don't think they're going to tap into the metaphor going on, but I think that they would enjoy, mostly because it's kind of a messy metaphor, as we were saying, but the big grandiose scale, the showmanship to it.
This was apparently the most expensive.
Oh my god, that shot, the shot of all the bodies going up into space, holy fuck, that was so cool. That's probably it's one of the like most disturbing and also prettiest shots I think Doctor Who has ever done. I was like, god damn, the budget suddenly got good.
Yeah. But yeah, what was I going to say. I just don't feel like kids are going to gravitate towards this season as a whole, because again, all of the stories are kind of allegorical. You know, I feel like it's hard to engage if you don't have like your empty child or your Daleks or a big goopy worm in the roof.
Your Slovene, yeah.
There's no iconic monsters apart from Mr. Ring-a-Ding, but I don't know if he's scary enough.
I don't know if he's interesting to look at. I don't think he's scary at all, but he's a unique villain for sure. But yeah, this season suffers the same as last season, not enough villains. Yeah. Although fucking what's his knob from the goddamn my brain is melting. The episode
Shrek?
No, the podcast man does our job.
Oh yeah, but he's a robot man. Yeah.
He's a robot man?
I thought you were thinking of Val.
No. This season.
Yeah, Conrad.
Conrad, yeah, fuck him. He's possibly the biggest villain that Doctor Who's come out with in ages. I hate that guy.
But again, if you're a kid, it's just some guy.
He's just some mean guy. He's just mean.
Fuck, we'll skip right to the end.
Yeah?
We'll obviously talk more about the episode itself, but the fucking Rani reveal, like, what kid is going to be excited by that reveal?
I'll be honest with you, I have no connection to the Rani, and I was not excited by the reveal.
I watched part 1 of Mark of the Rani. It's a 2-part story, 45 minutes each. Part 1, fucking boring as shit. It's the most boring classic Who story. That's saying something.
I think the biggest connection I have to the Rani, Dimensions in Time.
Classic.
Because I don't know if have I seen her since then or before then. This is my only experience with the Rani.
We will cover Mark of the Rani at the end of the year.
Yeah. How do you feel about it being another bi-generation?
Fucking
awful, isn't it? Yeah, it's terrible.
I'm still not sold on the fucking first bi-generation.
I don't like it.
Give me a second one. What
I don't.
The fuck are you doing?
Yeah, I don't like how the person dies, but then bi-generates and they're okay.
Yeah, and also they say in the episode that the first one is a Rani,
but she is
the one
the Rani. Yeah.
So that means
instantly Mrs. Flood is suddenly, and she also changes to be like, yes, ma'am, of course, ma'am, I'll do that, ma'am.
Yeah, she's so submissive.
Yeah.
For no reason, which maybe Brian May likes, her husband. I'm guessing Brian May watched that and I'm like, whoa.
I'm the Rani.
But yeah, if you go back to like Utopia and the fucking master reveal.
Oh my god, incredible.
Even if you don't know who the master is, because the Doctor is fucking terrified as he's putting together the pieces.
But not only that, the soundtrack.
Oh my god, yeah.
The soundtrack does so much work there because it's epic and dramatic, and like even as a kid, who I had definitely no idea who the fucking master was when I was watching it when I was like 6-7 years old. But I was like, oh my god, it's the master.
And in that scene, they also use archival footage when he's looking at the watch and you hear like old masters laugh and dialogue, and oh my god, I watched it again just recently and it's fucking amazing and it holds up. And as a 9-year-old kid, I'm like, oh, that's somebody I'm scared of. When the Rani fucking reveals herself in front of those 2 gay guys, like
nothing. I feel absolutely nothing. No. Yeah, I don't feel a threat from them. It doesn't. I think the big issue with the bi-generation as well is it doesn't feel climactic. It just kind of feels like bloop.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 of us.
And next week's episode has Mrs. Flood saying, "Oh, you sprung from my loins."
Yeah.
So that's a line I'm looking forward to hearing in its full context.
It's also from the photos. It's got fucking what's her name, Susan Triad's back as well.
Yeah, she's
not enough old women in this show.
Yeah, she's the tea lady again
from
the Devil's Court.
Yes. Yeah. I've got a dog. He's my dog.
Remember Susan Triad? I've had Dug-a-Doo stuck in my head all fucking week.
I tell you, there's been some bangers, some banger songs in these past 2 series for sure.
Like the Goblin song.
That's the worst one. That's hands down. It's not even close. That's the worst one.
But yeah, with the Rani reveal, it's something we kind of picked up on.
I'm gonna break everything. Okay.
It was like something we picked up on.
I'm standing on cable.
18 months ago when she looks at the camera and she's like, oh, okay, she knows what the TARDIS is, she knows what time travel is, etc. There's only like 3 fucking possible answers. She's a master, Susan, or Virani. Like, there's nothing else you can think of in that moment.
Do you think...
No, I don't think.
One, I think the master might show up again.
Please, God, no.
Because it's definitely the Rani that took that tooth.
Yeah.
100% it's the Rani that took that tooth. Wasn't she married to the master?
No.
It was some relation to the
They were
master.
kind of like a married couple.
Yeah.
But they weren't married.
Sure, they were just buddies.
Yeah, buddies.
Buddies.
Well, kind of frenemies.
Sure, but either way, that's someone that would definitely pick up the tooth because they would know what it was. Second point that I had, I've forgotten immediately. The Rani sucks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was underwhelming, I think, as far as reveals go.
Yeah. Because again, we kind of theorized it 18
Oh
months
yeah,
ago.
that's the point I was going to say. Do you think that was the whole reason she was breaking the fourth wall? It was just because she's a Time Lord and that's what the Doctor does sometimes.
Russell T. Davis doesn't even know why she breaks the fourth wall. He's like, it's never going to be explained because I don't know why she breaks the fourth wall.
Awesome. I'm just guessing it's Time Lord stuff. The Doctor breaks the fourth wall, then I guess that she can as well. You know?
I'm so tired of this show. Like, I don't even have the words for it anymore.
I think the show's at its best when it's not trying to do the big stories.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because I used to love the big stories in Doctor Who, but I like the just little character bits, the little individual episodes. I think have been so much stronger than the overarching stories throughout them. You know.
Yeah, it needs to be more episodic. You're trying to serialize it, but also episodic it.
Yeah.
Is that a phrase? Episodic it. It's a very messy season structure wise.
Yeah, again, it's just kind of it's kind of been like that since Flux though. Flux kind of suffered the same thing because that one was like fully serialized and yet was still a little bit episodic, but then suffered from bloat because they just kept introducing characters all the way up until the last episode.
Yeah, we also have the other mysterious old lady that is Susan, who of course mentioned last season, and we were like, is Susan coming back? Probably because the Doctor really fucking mentioned her name.
Mentioned her so much last season that we thought she was showing up last season.
Yeah.
But instead she's showing up this season really suddenly and out of the blue.
Yeah.
And in the Doctor's mind, going, grandfather.
Yeah, some people online are saying that's a memory, but like, if
She's old.
Like, why would you remember somebody being 60 years old?
And in your current TARDIS. No, I think she's definitely showing up in the finale, and I think she's regenerating into Belinda.
Some theories are saying
Bi-generating.
one of the babies the Ranis are holding next week is Susan, and Susan is going to send... No, sorry, Rani is going to send Susan back in time to Gallifrey or whatever, and that's how the Doctor is going to be her grandfather or whatever.
Right.
And the Rani is going to be involved way back to the very first episode.
So accessible.
You know, like it's like how Sutek was clinging on to the TARDIS for like 40 years.
Yeah. Or like how Clara was in every version of the Doctor's life.
To
give him the TARDIS and save him from death.
I think that's like the first moment in Doctor Who that really pissed me off.
Clara got way too OP.
Yeah,
for sure.
That was at the end of our very first season as well.
Yeah.
Oh, this show is
messy.
Do we like this show?
No. I mean, I do. I think it's probably one of the best shows ever made. But as it keeps going, it just gets more and more convoluted and in on itself. But it also should never end because it's kind of the magic of it.
Of course, by complete convenience, the Doctor lands in the Interstellar Song Contest in the booth of the only 2 characters who will save the day. The hologram man and the nurse who saved the Doctor. Like,
yeah.
How convenient. Presumably the TARDIS.
The TARDIS knew. Yeah, the TARDIS did it. Yeah.
Doctor was vacuumed into space again.
Yeah.
The Hellions were monsters because of propaganda. Belinda has a panic attack while Dugadoo plays.
Dugadoo was the best.
He really was.
Dugadoo was the best. I like how they released the full song, and there's a 24/7 live stream.
Yeah, it's still going on.
Well, it says 24/7, so 7 days at least minimum.
True, yeah.
Of Dugadoo's incredible song. I immediately sent the Dugadoo full song to a bunch of my friends who haven't started the show yet, and was like, if I have only one clip to show you that will convince you to watch the show, let it be this. Dugadoo. We're gonna get striked. Get it down.
Do you think he's trying to say Doctor Who?
I do.
He's aware he's
Doctor
in
Who,
a TV
Doctor
show.
Who, Doctor Who, Doctor Who. Yeah, I think so.
This is Murray Gold's
magnum opus. It's his magnum opus.
It really
for
is.
Sure, yeah.
You know, like, I am the Doctor. Sorry, just replace that with Dugadoo.
Dugadoo. Oh, that would be some fun edits. Yeah, like all Matt Smith's hype moments.
Of course, the Doctor uses his Princess Leia powers to move around in space, like Princess Leia did.
Although
I didn't mind that in The Last Jedi, because it makes sense for the Force to be like, yeah, I can keep some air particles around me and I can move around. That's makes sense.
Yeah,
she's a space wizard.
It just kind of looked silly.
Yeah,
but,
true.
Yeah, I kind of like the Doctors traveling through it with the big fire. What was it? Fucking.
Yeah, the confetti
cannon.
Very camp.
Very camp. Yeah. It's fun.
This episode is kind of weird tonally. It's camp 1 minute with Dugadoo and shit, while Belinda is having a fucking panic attack. She's having an existential crisis about the fact that the only person who can get her out of here is dead.
Yeah, and also this was kind of like Belinda's moment where she's like, I love traveling with you, Doctor.
Yeah.
You're the best, you're the most awesome person ever. I'm like, that doesn't feel really earned.
It doesn't.
You've not really done that much with him.
Especially after he fucking beat that kid up and she was like really scared of him, but also, I really love traveling with you, Doctor. Like,
beat up more people, please.
Pick a lane.
Yeah. Although I do really like this version of Shooty's Doctor.
Yeah.
So much more than I'm gonna cry every time.
Yeah.
Like I want to see that darker edge to him, that scary edge to him, that oncoming storm edge to him.
But I do wish it was peppered in throughout the season a little bit more.
Yes.
Like, when he loses his best friend of 6 months in the very first episode, have a little bit more of an anger.
Yeah, get a bit dark with it.
Yeah.
Have him blow up a few robots or something.
Yeah.
Don't just have him cry and be like, oh.
Yeah.
Have him yell at somebody. I want to see a scary Doctor.
Everybody winds up being saved because we're in the Mavity field and their bodies are frozen, and if you're frozen, helps you survive. Mission Impossible just fucking did that with Tom Cruise diving really deep down into a submarine that's on the seafloor, and he gets rescued because his body is frozen. And well, I mean, it's not a spoiler to say that because it's a whole fucking part of the plan.
Oh, right.
It gets revealed like 30 minutes before he gets saved. But
I have not seen that one.
And also they make a big use of the date May 22nd, which is interesting because this season of Doctor Who has all been about May 24.
Yeah.
Coincidence. And also Mark Gatiss appears like every 20 minutes, 25 minutes.
Interesting.
Like, he is peppered throughout the film. It's very interesting.
Why is Doctor Who never explained why Mark Gatiss is playing different characters?
Yeah, true. What else is there? The Doctor actually uses the sonic screwdriver properly in this episode when he's trying to stop the sound waves.
The sonic screwdriver is also incredibly powerful in this episode.
It is.
He just goes boop, 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 and blows up all the robots and everything, which I kind of dig. Dig when he was like doing the computer stuff and the robots were coming behind him and he's just like zap bang. He's like, I don't have time to fuck around with dumbass robots right now. I am focused and I'm trying to get to this thing because I'm so determined and angry at this thing. And I thought that was really interesting, where you think that these things are going to be a threat and they're just absolutely not a threat at all. I still hate his sonic screwdriver.
It's a spoon.
It's
for remote control from Click.
Yeah. Literally, it's terrible.
But kids don't want to use. You don't want kids to think it's a gun and pretend.
Well, have you seen that clip? You have seen that clip with the Rani using her sonic screwdriver. Yeah. That looks like a screwdriver. Yes. Or a gun. Oh my god.
The doctor carrying around the Vindicator sometimes looks like it's a gun. Yeah. Fucking Lenny Rush in his Segway. Yeah. Like, there is no consistency to what Russell D. Davis is thinking.
It's weird. He's got some weird logic for stuff, for sure.
I used to understand where the guy was coming from with his decisions. Like, I don't think the guy was ever that good with series arcs. Sometimes his series finals really fucking sucked. Like, the last of the Time Lords just reset Earth. That's kind of shitty, but... Yeah. I used to enjoy his content at least.
I think Moffat was better at the bigger storied stuff. Yeah. Maybe weaker in the individual episodes. Yeah. And Russell's kind of the inverse.
I'm glad that next week doesn't look like it's going to be like another, oh my god, the Earth is going to be destroyed again.
But that didn't happen last season either until the very last episode where they destroy the Earth in the 5 seconds of the last episode. Yeah. And then you're like, well, there's no stakes here. They should have done that last week.
I'm really sure you're going to kill off Kate and have her explode into like a sandy pit.
Yeah, that was terrible. My god.
It doesn't feel like there's real stakes in this show anymore.
We'll see. Maybe we're just cynical. Yeah. Saturday could blow our minds. I'm willing to have my mind blown.
Any theories for the next 2 episodes?
Bad. No, I think I've said my theories for it. I think Belinda's going to be someone like Susan. Mm-hmm. I don't think her parents exist at all. I think the Rani's going to be defeated by herself. I think Mrs. Flood's maybe going to turn on her.
Are we really going to do the whole Master and Missy thing
we are.
Series 10?
Absolutely, we are. 100%. I think maybe the Master might show up again. The Leaks are talking about Omega.
Yeah.
Who's going to be a giant claw or something bad like that.
The claw.
I think maybe this is a way of resetting and bringing the Time Lords back for a third time. Or maybe just resetting the universe entirely.
Yeah.
And I hope Billy Piper is not in it at all.
I am so worried about this fucking show. Well, we still, they were basically said, the BBC are committed to making more seasons, whether or not
Disney want to do it,
involved, but it's not looking like we're getting a season next year, which, remember when Russell D.
Davis... the war between the land and the sea?
Which... I am more excited for after Lucky Day.
Yeah, for sure. I saw an interesting theory that what's his name? The guy with the earlobes. He was in some Russell T. Davis projects before.
Christopher Eccleston.
No, he was in years and years and stuff. He's been in Doctor Who before as well.
Russell Tovey.
Yes.
He might be playing the Master.
Oh, the Master.
What the leak is
interesting.
saying.
I saw a rumor but a theory that he's going to be the Doctor.
Okay.
Which I'm actually not against him as the Doctor. I think he'd be interesting casting.
Yeah, if you have the 70th Doctor in a story.
Oh yeah, he's from way in the future. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to bother with. Yeah, you don't. It's not. You're not saying, he's the next Doctor. It's just
he was a Doctor.
A Doctor.
Yeah, kind of like the fugitive Doctor, the Valeyard. Yeah. That'd be interesting. But
I don't have any hopes for next. I'm kind of excited because it is a brand new kind of concept, the whole idea of the wish world and the idea of the Doctor in this alternate reality where he doesn't know he's the Doctor and he's a dad to Captain Poppy. Everybody's favorite character, Captain Poppy.
I can't believe space babies are that important.
That kid really grew up.
Oh yeah, they're sprouted. And they shot this last year.
Yeah.
That kid's probably...
That kid is in college right now.
That kid is 7 foot tall. But yeah, no, I will see what it brings. I am cautiously optimistic, as I always am, going into a finale. But I expect to be furious this time next week.
Not this time next week, but this time in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
In episode 8, I imagine there's going to be a big reveal that everybody's going to be pissed off. Multiple big reveals that everybody's going to be pissed off about.
Probably.
Is Series 10 going to be the last good final we've ever had?
I think it'll come around again if you wait long enough. But it just might take some time.
I think you need a small stakes final again, because the Series 10 final was small stakes. It was let's defend.
But you gotta be careful it's not too small stakes, because then you get like Jodie Whittaker's first season finale, where it's like, what do you mean that was the finale?
But you could do small stakes, but also big character stuff.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
We need that again. We really need some more like domestic stuff again.
Yeah.
Please.
We need more episodes.
Yeah, more episodes.
I would happily take less flashier episodes if that budget was instead moved to giving us like another 1 or 2 episodes.
Or even if you, instead of every 12 months, you just do 18 months for a season.
Yeah.
Give us 10 episodes. That feels like it's plausible.
Oh, or longer episodes.
Yeah.
Hour long instead of 40 minutes.
Yeah, I will say the pacing this season has been
way better.
Oh
my God, yeah.
But sometimes you do need those extra 5 minutes for character stuff, because
just let a scene breathe.
Again, Belinda and the Doctor don't feel entirely defined as main characters like we used to get in the first run of episodes, which were also 45-minute episodes.
Oh well. Anyway, I think that's it.
Yeah. So what's that? The Wish World next week.
Wish World.
Yes.
I wish for a world where Doctor Who is good. Thank you very much for listening to this episode covering 3 episodes, and we're hopefully gonna have this up before the part 1 of the finale comes out. Time is a nightmare. And a person and a planet and a concept. Make sure to subscribe here at Who Watches Who. We're very close to 100 subscribers, so that would be very, very nice to do. It's only taken us 4 years.
Yeah, 4-year anniversary. Just the other day.
Yeah, happy anniversary. We're finally in person. It took us 4 years to be close enough to record in person, but I think it's going to be good for the show. I'm excited for the podcast, and I'm enjoying this new format. We will increase the production budget. I'm still moving into my flat, so I just have fucking boxes everywhere.
Yeah, and his flat is as blurry.
No, I cannot find my way around. But okay, we will see you some point next week, probably. Bye.